Hello, welcome to our channel Book in 6. If you're wondering what is Book in 6 all about, we bring to you some interesting book reviews just about in 6 minutes. And 6 being the symbol of teaching, let's begin.
Book in 6 review is very special to us. Firstly, because it's the first video of the year 2022. And the second one is because this is done in collaboration with Vidyadan, a non-profit initiative for sharing the learning experiences with aspiring career professionals. And this book review is even more special because this is a book review done by 4 kids who participated in our reading marathon contest conducted on the occasion of the International Education Day on 24th of January 2022. So congratulations to all the 4 winners, Abhilash, Nandini, Meghana, and Geetika. And let us all look forward to the review shared by 4 of them coming up next. Thank you.
Today I'm going to tell about self-confidence. When I'm called to stand up and speak, I become so self-consciousness, so frightened that I can't think clearly, can't concentrate, can't remember what I have intended to say. I want to gain self-confidence, pauses, the ability to think on my feet. I want to be able to say my words clearly and convincingly before a business, club group or audience. The gaining of self-confidence and courage, the ability to think calmly while talking to people in a group is not one that difficult as most people imagine. It is not a gift bestowed by providence on only a few rare people individuals. It is like ability. Anyone can develop his capacity if he has sufficient desire to do so. On this much, however, practice and training will wear you away your audience fright and give you self-confidence and abiding courage. Do not imagine that your case is usually difficult. Even after us who became most equivalent representatives of the generation affected outside of the career, affected by blinding, fear and self-consciousness. In fact, many of the famous speakers of England made a push showing at first that there is no feeling in the parliament rather than in an inspirations woman for a young man who shall talk to be a decided success. Fear is forgotten by ignorance and uncertainty, says Professor Robinson, to keep in another way, the result of lack of confidence. Take one subject in which you know some knowledge and consult a 3 minute talk, practice by number of times and give it to your friends of group for whom it is needed and put all your effort.
The title of the book is How to Develop Self-Confidence and Influence by Public Speaking. It's a person's development series. Its author was Dale Carnegie. He wrote this book in 1926. Its publisher was Vermilion Random House Limited in 1998. Dale Carnegie is a famous American writer, literature, and developed famous courses of self-improvement, salesmanship, corporate training, public speaking, and interpersonal skills. Dale Carnegie is known for art priest of making friends, self-confidence, and motivational techniques. Dale Carnegie, How to Develop Self-Confidence and Influence by Public Speaking is an evergreen book. This book will show you how to overcome the natural fear of public speaking, to become a successful speaker, and to learn and enjoy it. The gaining of self-confidence and encourage an ability to think more calmly and clearly while talking to a group is not one thing but difficulty many people can imagine. Anyone can develop his capacity if he has sufficient desire to do so. The great many speakers tell you that in the presence of an audition is a stimulus and inspiration that derives to the brain an addition of more clearly and more cleanly. Audience is one of this speech by a powerful note. The audience is more likely to take away all over the positive impression in the experience of introduction and conclusion are very important in the parts of speech. Here are my opinion on the book. This book is a personality development book which is very helpful for those who struggle with various problems when it comes to public speaking. Not many people find personality development books to be helpful because they just give tips which seem alright when read but do not help when it comes to practical experience. Also, they don't empathize or connect with the reader. But I felt that this book written by Dale Carnegie is quite different compared to other books. The first few pages of this book have quite amazed me. The author made sure that he doesn't directly dive into the topic, but to first connect with the reader that the problem he or she is facing is completely normal and can be changed. This he achieved by giving few examples of various people who had transformed from self-conscious and frightened people to distinguished public speakers of their time. He gave the example of Jean George, Lloyd George, Charlie Chaplin, James Kirkwood, Abraham Lincoln, and many more famous speakers who used to struggle too during their early attempts.
Author tells that we can achieve the skill of public speaking by a consistent practice.
Context, the author narrates us one of his experiences and also asks us whether we have the similar one. And he tells us that no matter how much we prepare, we all experience the self-consciousness before we begin. But right after a few seconds, we see it vanish. Also, in the conclusion of the text, the author tells us how awkward Mr. Lincoln was. His voice sounded shrill, unpleasant, and piping. Later, he gained composure and warmth and then started his real speech. And then the author also mentions the 4 things essential to become a good speaker in public. The first one is to start with a strong and persistent desire. And next is to know thoroughly what we are going to speak. Third one is to act confident. Fourth is to practice. We also have this saying, practice makes a man perfect. And lastly, the author says that the ability to speak up in front of everyone might seem awkward, but it is not difficult to conquer the awkwardness.